Lesson 3.5 is on two-step equations. All right, this will be our last lesson in chapter 3. All right, so it will be a two-step equation because it's going to take 2 steps in order to solve the equation. Okay, so since we're dealing with equations, we're still going to need to rely on our previous information when we solve equations. So once again, our objective is to get the variable by itself. In order to get the variable by itself, you need to understand what's happening to the variable. Yep, it's being either added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. And then we need to do the exact opposite of that in order to cancel out what is ever with the variable so we can get the variable by itself. And then still, whatever I do to one side, we have to do to the other. So all those rules stay the same. We will be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing today, so we're going to have to still remember our same sign sum, different sign difference rules. When we add or subtract, we take the sign in that term from the number that was farther from 0. Okay? When we multiply and divide, same signs positive, different signs negative. So we have to continue to remember all the things that we have learned in the past. All right, first example. I have 3x plus 5 equals 11. So we need to figure out what x equals. So we need to ask ourselves, what's happening to x? Now, unlike the last couple lessons where there was really only one thing happening to our variable, here today we're going to be having 2 things happening to our variable. So we're going to say x is being multiplied by 3 and added by 5. Okay, those are 2 things. So we need to get rid of one of the numbers in our first step and then our other number in our second step. Now I'm going to tell you, get rid of the number that's related to your weaker operation first. So when you think of your PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract, okay? You're going to want to get rid of your weaker operation first, right? Adding and subtracting is going to be weaker than multiplying and dividing. So we want to get rid of this plus 5 first because it's weaker than multiplying by 3. So the opposite of adding 5 is to subtract 5. So I'm taking 5 from this left side and I'm taking 5 away from this right side. So we know our 5s are going to cancel because 5 minus 5 is 0. Those are gone. Now we need to bring down what is left in the problem. So I have 3x over here. I have not yet canceled that, so we have to just bring it down. Bring down my equal sign, and 11 minus 5 is 6. Now we're down to our one-step equation, or our next step in the two-step equation process. 3 and x are being multiplied, so we need to divide both sides by 3. Our 3's are going to cancel. We have x by itself. Now I just need to take 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So x equals 2. All right, we got to get m by itself. M is being divided by -2 and added by 6. So we got to get rid of the weaker operation first. Plus 6 is our weaker operation. So we're going to get rid of this positive 6 by subtracting 6 from this left side and subtracting 6 from the right side. The 6 is canceled. I'm going to bring down my m divided by -2. Bring down my equals. 10 minus 6 is 4. Now we need to get rid of this division by -2. We also need to get rid of this negative sign. So the opposite of dividing by -2 is to multiply by -2. Right? Cross reduce. Our -2's cancel. All I have left is 1m, which is just m. And if I took this side times -2, I need to take this side times -2. 4 times -2, different signs, -8. All right, next example. Here, we're trying to figure out what a equals. A is being multiplied by 4 and added by 2/5. Okay, so we need to get rid of this addition of 2/5 first because it's weaker than multiplying by 4. So the opposite of a positive or adding 2/5 is to subtract 2/5. 2/5 minus 2/5 cancels out. We get 0. All I have left now is 4a, so I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring my equal sign down. I subtracted 2/5 here. Now I'm going to subtract 2/5 here. Now we already have a common denominator, so I don't need to get 2 new fractions, so that is nice. Here I have the same signs sum, so I'm going to add 6 and 2. And I'm going to get 8. 6 was farther from 0. 6 had a negative in front of it, so we need to put the negative in front of the 8 over 5. -8/5. And we're just going to leave fractions, whether they're regular fractions or improper fractions, as they are in the problem. Okay? Now we need to do the opposite of 4 times a, which is to divide both sides by 4. So we're going to divide by 4. Okay? Cross my 4's out, A equals. Okay? So I could write it like this, but this kind of looks a little goofy, right? So we could also write it as negative 8/5 and then just write our division sign and then 4. And since this is a fraction, we want to make this look like a fraction and put 4 over 1. So if we do have a fraction on one side and I'm dividing by a whole number, I would probably encourage you to set it up and write it like this. Now, we've learned in the past, do we like to divide with fractions involved? No. We skip that first fraction and then we multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, skip, flip this fraction, and then multiply. Now we want to look to cross reduce. Let's divide both of the 4 and the 8 by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now we can just multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. 2/5, and then we have a negative times a positive, different signs, so negative. So our answer is negative 2/5. Okay? All right, 2 more examples. Here I have 4 minus 2y plus 3 equals negative 9. So we can clean up this left side a little bit by combining like terms first. So if there's ever terms that are alike, clean them up, combine them first before we work on solving. So I have a positive 4 plus 3, okay? Same sign, so let's clean up 4 plus 3. I'm just gonna bring down this negative 2y because I can't combine it with anything yet. And then 4 plus 3 is a positive 7. And I'm just gonna rewrite the problem. So I cleaned it up a little bit. Now I have a 2-step equation that I can solve. So negative 2 is being multiplied by y, and y is being added by 7. So we gotta get rid of the negative 2 and the 7 one step at a time. Let's get rid of this positive 7 because addition is weaker than multiplication. So we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. 7's cancel. I'm gonna bring down my negative 2y. Here I have these same signs on the 9 and the 7, so we are going to add 9 and 7 and get 16. 9 was farther from 0 compared to 7. 9 had a negative in front of it, so our 16 needs to be negative. Now I need to get rid of this negative 2. The opposite of negative 2 times y is to divide both sides by negative 2 because we need to cancel out the negatives as well. The negative 2's cancel. Y is all by itself. That's what we wanted. Negative 16 divided by negative 2. Our signs were the same. When I divide and I have same signs, our answer is positive. 16 divided by 2 is 8. All right, last example. Kind of similar to this example, we need to clean this side up, combine like terms first before we can solve. So here I have 3y minus 8y. Those are like terms. They have the same variable with the same power. So 3y minus 8y. Our signs are different, so we will subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5. So 8y minus 3y is 5y. 8's farther from 0. 8's negative, so 5y needs to be negative. And now really I only have a 1-step equation here. So negative 5 times y. We need to divide both sides by negative 5. Our negative 5's cancel. And 25 divided by negative 5. Signs are different. Negative 5. All right, homework. Page 112, 6 through 11, and 20 through 22.